Why is this one thumbnail says that I f***ed my dad? I'm sorry, I can't go over the fact that like this girl with the fucking missing tooth is saying I f***ed my dad. What does it even say? Daughter murdered mom to keep her dirty secret. Oh, I'm debating should I watch one more. I kind of want to know what's happening with this. It's only 35 minutes. We can watch it. Okay, I'm watching it. So this one is from Real Crime Psychology. And in this video, a daughter murders her mom to keep her dirty secret that she's sleeping with her dad, apparently.
What is going on? Hello? My mom was a knife. Who has a knife? My sister. Quick!
On November 16th, 2012, at approximately 1:15 a.m., 13-year-old Megan Zanella called 911 in a state of shock. She witnessed the horrifying scene of her foster sister, Sabrina Zunick, fatally stabbing her mother, Lisa Nofel. However, the story takes a shocking turn when Sabrina claims to have no memory of her actions.
Recall coming out of the bedroom with a knife in your hand?
No.
Well, you had a knife. And you stabbed Lisa.
I did.
Yes, you did.
Sabrina masks her guilt with a facade of innocence, but the detectives are on the brink of unraveling the family's dirtiest secret. As damning evidence surfaces, it leads them to the sinister mastermind behind the crime and reveals a motive more shocking than they could have imagined.
Does he ever tell you, hey, you can't tell anybody about this?
All the time.
What did you say in response to that?
I would never do that. Tell on him.
Lisa put up just a miraculous fight for her life, a literal fight for her life. But there was just no stopping Sabrina. She was determined to kill Lisa, and she did.
Sabrina, rather than fleeing the scene, remained there, having sustained several stab wounds herself during the attack. In a state of shock, she was taken to the hospital for treatment. Just 10 hours after the murder, she was brought into the interrogation room where she claimed to have no recollection of the horrific act she had committed.
What do you recall?
Yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Getting done with my homework? Getting, I don't know, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bed.
And we're at home?
Mm-hmm.
What, anything unusual happen?
I don't know. Everything went fine according to what I knew of.
Mm-hmm. And what happened?
Starting from...
Love.
Starting from when you got home from
It
school
hurts.
yesterday.
Sabrina's attempt to recollect the recent events and claiming of having a normal day leave the detectives rather unimpressed. They were well aware of the narrative she was trying to form. The unoriginal tactic of suspects to feign amnesia after a traumatic event was something the seasoned detectives had experienced countless times. However, it was too early for them to call her out on her facade. So, they resorted to a slower but more effective way to communicate with her in the hopes of a confession.
No.
I got home. I went to my home. Then we had hamburger helper. And then I went back to doing my homework. Stayed doing our homework till like 1. I went upstairs. No, it was like 12. Went upstairs, tried to go to sleep. I couldn't go to sleep, so I went to go get some Advil.
Mm-hmm.
I have a girlfriend. Because my head hurts, because I have really bad headaches whenever they feel like it. And after that...
Where did you take ibuprofen from?
And they sang Kevin's bathroom. That's where it's held. Kevin and Lisa's bedroom. That's where it's held.
Kevin and Lisa's bedroom? Okay. Where is it at? Is it actually in a medicine cabinet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it on the first shelf, the second shelf, the third shelf? Do you recall?
I believe that there's only 2 shelves.
Okay.
And it's on the bottom.
On the bottom shelf?
So you went in her bed. Is her bathroom in her bedroom?
Mm-hmm. It's connected.
Mm-hmm.
Was Lisa still awake?
I don't know. I just remember going in there, having the bottle, starting to shake it to get the meds, and then I'm gone from there. Thank you.
Okay. Do you remember what the bottle said?
Ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen?
White, and there was orange around it.
Okay.
Are you allowed in the bathroom?
Only, to get Advil or something like that. I call it Advil. It's always
Right.
ibuprofen. Other than that, no. Not unless they're there or, we're told to.
So what did Lisa say to you then, when she saw you in there?
Don't know. I don't know if
You
Lisa
didn't
will-
hear us?
No.
I mean, you don't
I don't
know.
remember anything at that point on.
What do you remember?
Everything except,
Were you taking any illegal narcotics yesterday?
no. Don't do drugs.
You don't do drugs? When was the last time you did drugs?
3.5 years ago.
3.5 years ago? Okay. You have not had any illegal drugs since then?
The detectives questioned Sabrina about possible drug use, both to assess its potential connection to the crime and to determine whether it might influence the reliability of her answers.
Okay. You were at home all night yesterday? Okay. After you ate dinner, did you have this opportunity to say goodbye to Kevin?
I was at the computer desk.
You're at the computer
I
desk?
don't know. I went to the living room also because I was printing my bracelet. I mean, I was in the living room, I was in the kitchen, and I was in the office. That's it. Excuse me. I mean, I believe so, yeah, he just said bye, because he always says bye to everybody.
Okay.
And we either say bye to Bella, Haley kisses him, well,
Okay. You had an argument or anything with Lisa last night?
no,
No?
everything was fine.
Everything's
I
fine?
know her.
Okay. Have you had these type of issues in the past where you just don't remember things?
I'm not positive. I mean, I know I was in my other group homes. When I was in a fight with other people, I blacked out. And I don't remember it.
Have you ever been checked?
What do you mean, the
Have you,
psychiatrist?
medically? Yeah.
Yeah, I go to a psychiatrist.
Okay. And you take,
Vyvanse once a day.
okay. And what are those meds for?
Yeah, but Vyvanse is for ADHD, and
Okay.
Votrient is for mood stabilizer / anxiety.
So it kind of stabilizes your moods? Okay.
In a later interview, Sabrina disclosed that she had been diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 4 and also struggled with oppositional defiant disorder, or ODD, anxiety, depression, and bipolar disorder. While these conditions can contribute to memory issues, they do not sufficiently explain Sabrina's claim of having no recollection of the events from the previous night. In fact, these were merely her claims, and there was a possibility of Sabrina trying to have a defense plea of insanity.
What do you think happened to your hands?
I don't know. I'm saying that I'm being charged with homicide.
Well, I'm investigating it. Do you remember blood being all over you?
No, but I can see it all over my legs.
There was blood all over your face or blood all over your body. That's why you're not in your clothes. Do you remember your clothes?
I remember.
It becomes clear that Sabrina is faking memory loss, as she recalls details about everyone else but claims to draw a blank regarding her actions. A more sinister motive might be at play, and she could try to appear insane to evade the consequences of her actions. When criminals try to fake insanity, memory loss is often used as a tactic to dodge specific details. But what shocked the detectives was the motive behind the murder and the revelation of the mastermind who had planted the idea of insanity in Sabrina's mind.
What happened to your hands? I mean, did you see when they were at the hospital what your hands looked like?
No,
You didn't see it? So you don't know what's wrong with your hands?
they obviously been cut because they told me that.
They were cut? It's cut pretty bad?
5 stitches.
How many?
5.
5? In your, what, right hand?
2 in one and 3 in the other. I don't know
okay.
which one is for.
Okay. Did you see the stitches? Did you see what they did? No. You have no idea how that could have happened? Nothing?
Lisa's death was violent, but she managed to inflict defensive wounds on Sabrina in the process. In pursuit of a breakthrough, the detectives inquire about Sabrina's foster father, Kevin Nofel. What they uncover goes beyond their expectations, exposing the family's darkest secret.
How do you get along with Kevin?
Kevin and me are cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's more the one that helps me out.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is Megan to deal with. Megan has mental instabilities herself.
Okay.
And so we made agreements a long time ago that if I need anything, that I can go to Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was major that she needed to be involved in, then he would ask, but not to be concerned about small things.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's already stressing her out. Because of her job, and Haley, and Megan.
Initially, Sabrina and Lisa shared a close bond, but that changed when Sabrina began to feel that Lisa favored her daughters over her. This belief is thought to have been instilled by Kevin, with whom Sabrina grew closer as her relationship with Lisa deteriorated.
How about with Lisa? How do you get along with her?
Me and Lisa have never been the best.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've never tried to hurt her, never had any thoughts of hurting her, yet.
At least until now.
Emotional and mental abuse from her to me.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, when the hell did that
Put her
sticky
hands
note?
on me, not.
I don't remember the sticky note ever being on my head.
But restraining me because I wouldn't give an iPod to her. And I don't know. I don't know. She never seemed to like me, and she's been wanting me out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
By addressing the obvious issue directly, the detectives hope it would help jog her memory and get her into revealing more details.
What's your thoughts on how Lisa is not alive now?
What?
What is your thoughts on that she is not alive? Maybe you didn't understand. That's what we're talking to you about.
Mm-hmm. This is that.
You should have told me I did it.
Yes. But most of that blood was probably hers.
That's why we need you to concentrate and think about what happened.
Sabrina pretends to be unaware of Lisa's death, but the detectives remain unmoved. Lisa endured the onslaught, suffering 178 stab wounds. Her injuries ranged from numerous defensive wounds on her hands and arms to devastating wounds where the knife was twisted with such force that it severed an artery and even cut through bone. The sheer viciousness of the attack also resulted in the blade itself getting bent. How could Sabrina possibly expect Lisa to survive such an attack?
There were nearly 180 different types of stab wounds, defensive wounds. I mean, wounds that were called complex because they were, the knife was jabbed in there and twisted.
There's always two sides to every story, and we want to know what you had to say about it. And we know you were there. You know, there were officers that got to the house after they were called. So we just need you to focus on what happened. You know you were doing homework, and you know you got yourself to the bedroom to get the medicine. What you need to do now is bring it all together and think real hard about maybe what happened next. And then that'll explain how you got some wounds to your hands. Okay?
What's gonna happen to Haley, Megan, and Kevin?
Hmm?
What's gonna happen to Haley, Megan, and Kevin?
Haley, Megan, and Kevin are all safe. They're at home right now. Haley's with Judy, alright? And Megan's with her dad. And Kevin's with Judy also. Anything coming back?
No.
Recall coming out of the bedroom with a knife in your hand?
No.
Well, you had a knife. And you stabbed Lisa.
I did.
Yes, you did. And Megan called the police.
That can't be true.
Bree, it is. I'm sorry.
Through her diminished emotional responses and disorganized thoughts, Sabrina is attempting to frame the events of November 16th as a psychotic episode. However, the detectives see through this futile act and keep the focus on her.
I've never been a murderer.
We need to know, that's why we're asking you to think about it. We need to know how to help you, okay? And we don't know that until we know, we need to get some facts and find out what's going on. And that'll give us the best course on how to proceed from here and help you, help the family, and go on from there.
What do you want me to eat?
We don't want you to say anything except the truth, and we just want you to think about it, because something happened by the time you were getting your meds in the bathroom there for your headache, and then one of our police officers arriving. So something happened in between that time, and we're just trying to get to the truth of that.
Wonder if like
and find out what happened.
Her and Lisa.
I don't know.
Were they like arguing, and then like she got so fed up with like the argument, she just, I don't know, blacked out, and then like didn't wake up until she finished stabbing her mom? I don't know.
This is really dead.
Yes, dead. Sorry.
I don't believe this.
That's why we're here, trying to put it all together.
Can I just...
Yeah, I'll get you something out.
Trying to figure out what happened. Okay? We know that you and Lisa had a struggle with a knife. Lisa was stabbed multiple times.
Please.
Oh, here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Although Sabrina has agreed to answer questions, there's a high likelihood that the detectives will struggle to extract any valuable information from her.
Nobody else is hurt.
Nobody else was hurt. Thank goodness.
Has there been maybe an argument between you and Lisa? Maybe had something to do with your iPad or anything like that?
That was a long time ago.
A long time ago?
And yeah, the cops were called on.
Okay. Did you get your iPad back?
Yeah.
Or iPod, whatever it is? You got it back? Where should it be at the house?
My book bag.
In your book bag? Okay.
My pocket. Vest pocket.
Okay.
Right side.
You have a Facebook account?
Yes.
You do? Were you on Facebook last night?
Yes.
Talk to anybody?
Yes, but not much.
Not much? Are you into messaging anybody?
Yes.
Who?
This kid named Bobby.
What's Bobby's last name?
I don't know.
Do you know him?
Yeah.
How do you know him?
Skating.
From skating?
United States.
You go to school with him?
No.
No? How old is he?
15 or 16.
Okay, so a little younger than you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm usually just helping him. He has mental instability.
Okay. Have you ever thought about homicidal or suicide thoughts?
No. I mean, a long time ago. I've been stable for so long. I've never had any doubts like that.
The detective shifts focus again, inquiring about the iPad and her friend, topics that Sabrina seems to recall without trouble, as opposed to her apparent lapse in memory regarding the crime itself.
Where do you think you got the knife
I mean, like,
from?
she's definitely faking. She's definitely faking, like, the part where she doesn't remember stabbing someone. I feel like that'd be something someone would vividly remember.
And you had a knife.
I don't believe it.
It's true.
You remember?
When we came to the house, you had the knife in your hand.
Are you sure it wasn't self-defense?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
We had 2 police officers there that saw you with the knife and ordered you to drop it.
Did I?
Well, yes.
Why do you say that so iffy?
You did.
Well,
I said it like that because it's the head and you could have been hurt.
You threw the knife down and they made you get on the floor and put handcuffs on you.
Do you recall that part of it there?
I heard the little bit that I recall seeing on the floor drooling, and then that's it.
You remember Megan coming in?
No.
No? Remember Haley coming in?
Megan and Haley were both there?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you're saying everything. So, what you're saying is true. You're telling me Haley and Megan saw me or her mother?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Nobody needs to see that.
No.
You're right.
Right.
I mean, it's just between you and Lisa. Nobody else should have seen that.
No. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Ow! No.
What's wrong with your shoulder, hon?
I think they gave me a tetanus shot.
Oh.
Sabrina draws attention to the pain in her arm, likely as a way to gain sympathy or deflect further questioning. However, it's nothing more than a tactic to stall.
Nothing's coming to...
No.
Remember Megan or Haley saying anything to you?
Remember Megan trying to pull you off? Her mom telling you to stop?
So they were in there and trying to pull me off of her.
Brilliant, it's true. You're right and wrong and truth and a lie. Do you remember any of these things?
Nothing except for what I told you.
Okay. That's what happened.
Why she sound like a cat? Why is she meowing for?
Is everything gonna be okay?
Just
Not with me.
no, it's not going to be okay for a lot of people. I know some things for sure. I know Megan was yelling at you to stop. Do you recall any of that?
No.
I'm going to tell you how I know this because she called 911 and I could hear both of you in the background.
Oh. Why can't I remember this?
I don't know. That's why we're talking to you. I don't know. Nothing. Do you remember it would trigger anything like this? You ever had a situation like this ever?
No. I've never. No.
You ever sleptwalk before?
Yeah. It was my grandma a long time ago.
Yeah. What happened then?
I was in her bed and I guess I just tried to walk out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Come back and it laid me down.
I mean, this is what happened, but you honestly do not remember?
You know where the knives are in your house?
Yes, but that's only because I either use them to cook or I put away the dishwasher.
Recall going to the kitchen last night and grabbing a knife?
No.
Sabrina insists on her memory loss, but she can likely sense the skepticism in the detective's voices. Her story carries little to no credibility without any prior history of such incidents.
I wasn't in the kitchen last night.
I don't know which knife it was. Do you remember which one it was? Or no?
Lay that long?
I used that.
Do you know that knife?
What it looks like. It's not just a length.
Black handle? Probably 9 to 12 inches. very sharp?
Does it have red edges or is it straight sharp?
I believe. Don't recall, to be honest with you.
You ever punched any holes in your wall? Well, you ever slammed your door open where the door handle?
Those were both there from Megan.
They're from
Before I
Megan?
got there.
Okay.
She has huge major issues with ink.
Okay.
Well, welcome back from ad break,
Pulled up on me
everyone.
multiple times and hit me, and then claimed that I tried to stab her with a butter knife. And you can ask Laura, which is Lisa's sister, and Kevin. We were all there when they went to training. She made a big deal out of nothing. Because she got mad about Laura not wanting her waffles, and I was buttering mine. She goes to hit me on my arm, and I go to restrain her hands because she wasn't going to hit me more. I had a butter knife in my hand, didn't have time to put it down, but it was spaced towards the floor. She's trying to struggle to get her hands away from mine, and by the time I have it, the knife is in between our two hands. And they claimed that I tried to kill her. She's also claimed that Kevin tried to kill her.
Without additional documentation, it's hard to determine if this event truly occurred. Sabrina is either fabricating or exaggerating the story to discredit the claims of her foster sister.
Honestly, she has some huge mental instabilities. Because none of us ever has tried to hurt her or anybody else.
Why do you suppose your clothes were dripping with blood?
Right on. What is that noise?
They're releasing the door, and it makes a loud click noise.
I'm not sure how to do that.
Shoot, I'm sorry.
Well, how do you suppose your clothes were blood-soaked, dripping?
You told me I killed her.
You don't remember anything?
With that, the detectives no longer gain new information and wrap up their interrogation with Sabrina. While she doesn't deny killing Lisa, she claims to have no memory of the act. However, the detectives have gathered more than enough evidence to charge her with first-degree aggravated murder. What remained unknown in the interrogation was the underlying motive behind the murder. But that, too, was about to be revealed in a shocking twist.
When I started to think that there was more to the incident than just a foster child that stabbed her foster mother was when I went to the wake. When I went to the wake in the service that had an outpouring of support and a lot of tears and sadness by coworkers and that, there seemed to be one person there that didn't seem to have much tears or sadness about it, and that was Kevin.
As Sabrina faced the difficult journey toward prison, few paid attention to the man with the alibi, her foster father, Kevin. In the aftermath of Lisa's death, Kevin displayed a chilling indifference, using the life insurance payout to fund a lavish lifestyle. He paid off his home, bought new cars, purchased a house in Florida, and even took flying lessons. For someone who had lost his wife in such a gruesome way, Kevin seemed to be living large and remained strikingly unremorseful. The detectives, suspecting a connection between Kevin and the murder, brought him in for questioning. When he arrived, accompanied by his lawyer, the detectives informed him that they would question him about his wife's work.
Kevin, do you know anything that was happening at the house the night before you left for work that night?
Well, hang on a second. We just talking about his wife's work. What's going on at the house the night before is not his wife's work.
Okay. Where does your wife work at?
County Children's Institute.
What does she do there?
She was a social worker for the children's section.
Were you and Lisa in the process of going through a divorce?
No matter how hard the detectives tried to steer the questioning toward the murder, Kevin's lawyer repeatedly intervened to stop them. Even with the most basic inquiries, the lawyer blocked their progress at every turn. However, Sabrina eventually cooperated with investigators, leading to Kevin's indictment nearly 6 months after the murder in August 2013. She agreed to speak with a prosecutor through a process known as a proffer, where Sabrina would openly confess the motive behind the murder. This was the first step before entering a plea agreement. It was revealed
Why
that
did
Kevin
eyes
had
get
masterminded
so
the crime,
big like
and there
that?
were over 1,500 messages exchanged between him and Sabrina, many of which were disturbingly sexual.
Was Kevin Knafel my foster father? It was Kevin's idea, and it was talked about after we were having relations, and him and Lisa were having problems in marriage. He wanted to get a divorce, but Haley, which is a 3-year-old daughter of his and her, was in the picture, and he wanted full custody. She would get custody, or it would be shared, and he didn't want that happening. So the alternative was for this to happen.
When was it, after you started to live there on a daily basis, that your relationship with Kevin changed? When did this make you start to change?
It all started not with, but with massages, because he was a truck driver and his legs would cramp, so it was inner thigh. Then it progressively got into.
Does he ever tell you, hey, you can't tell anybody about this?
All the time.
Did he say what would happen if you told?
Then you'd be taken out of my care and I could lose my foster parent license.
What did you say in response to that?
I would never do that.
Okay.
Tell on him.
Sabrina asserts that Kevin began a relationship with her when she was 17 and quickly progressed to where they were together whenever Lisa and her daughter were away from home.
What was his relationship?
Ew.
It was when a foster father when needed to be, and when a lover when not being a foster father.
Sabrina admits that Kevin started discussing plans to have his wife killed and revealed that he had $785,000 in life insurance policies on Lisa.
Can you describe for us or give us an idea of exactly the statements that Mr. Knafel made to you about his wife being gone?
She would be worth more dead than alive.
Did you engage in any other activity with the defendant about that topic at that time?
Yes.
And what happened?
About how to kill him.
Why did you do that?
Because I was doing what I was told to do.
Right. And who told you to do that?
Kevin.
And why did you keep doing that?
Because I knew I was already going to jail.
In August 2014, Sabrina pleaded guilty to aggravated murder and was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years in 2042.
Honestly, I believe Sabrina was a victim over and over again. She was used in regards to her emotions. I don't think she ever had anyone to love her. And the superficial love that he obviously showed her made her do that terrible act. You know, I know she's aware of her actions, but I think she got caught up and just lost it.
12B, this is a situation where both of the victims suffered serious physical, psychological harm. The offender's relationship with both victims facilitated the offense with reference to the murder. Murder, in this case, Mr. Knafel acted as part of an organized criminal activity. I concur that I've seen no remorse at any point during this proceeding, either before the trial, during the trial, or up to today. As such, and as pointed out, there has been no prior record of the defendant. He has no convictions. He's lived a law-abiding life. In this case, there is mandatory prison time that must be imposed due to the offenses that have been committed and due to the verdict that has been returned. As such, it is the order of this court that Kevin Knafel is sentenced to Lorraine Correctional Institution.
On June 11, 2014, Kevin was found guilty on all 11 charges: 6 counts of battery, 3 counts of complicity to commit aggravated murder, and 2 counts of conspiracy to commit aggravated murder. He was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years.
This is 8 years after the initial incident, and I believe I have a different perspective now. I'm not a monster. I'm an individual who made a mistake that affected a lot of lives. We're the picture-perfect family on the outside, but on the inside, it was completely different. I was in a very delicate state. I was in love with this man, what I thought was love. I was convinced that I was going to lose everything that I've ever dreamed of. This didn't happen.
The foster system holds the potential to offer children safety and love, yet its imperfections often create pathways to tragedy. Was Sabrina acting on her own intent, or was she manipulated by Kevin? Did he actually care about Sabrina, or was there a darker motive after all? How can the foster system better protect vulnerable children while supporting families who genuinely seek to help out these souls in need?
Those last two stories were actually crazy. I wasn't expecting like all these twists and turns with it. I'm glad that like the father got caught, because it already sounded bad when I read the title, but it sounded way worse. But then it actually just decided to be way worse than it initially sounded like.